From the land down under, with the rock at its centre, comes the little Aussie watchman. Pauline Hanson has once again stirred up a hornet's nest. She entered the Australian Parliament in a burqa in order to bring attention to the oppression of women through the forced use of the burqa. Like freedom fighters before her, she was maligned in public and in Parliament. First that comes to mind is William Wilberforce of England. When he became an evangelical Christian, he discovered a love for his fellow man and began to fight against the slave trade. His fight was fought in the Parliament, where he was repeatedly ridiculed and slandered. He was told that slaves benefited from bondage and that he himself must be a foreign spy. In the same way, in Australia, we were repeatedly told that the poor oppressed woman in a burqa benefits greatly from its use when it is clear to all and sundry that it is an instrument of oppression by a misogynist culture. Pauline is correct when she says it's not a religious requirement. This is brought in by men who want to cover up their women. It is oppressing to women, she says. The Quran does not call for the use of the burqa. Not that I'm a great fan of the Quran. Instead, the burqa is a cultural throwback to a degenerate time. What is sad is, if there ever was a cause for feminists, it is freedom for the women who are enslaved by the burqa. Their ability to work, to interact with a different culture, develop supports outside their immediate family, not to mention dealing with the oppressive Australian heat, has all been dramatically influenced by the forced use of the burqa. Like the slaves of the 1800s, they do not have a voice for themselves because of their lowly position within their own household. Others must fight for what is obviously a great feminist cause for the 21st century. Instead, our so-called feminists do not lift a finger for them. They allow the slavery of the burqa to continue unheeded. The burqa is quite different to the headscarf, which is often used within Islamic cultures. The isolation afforded by the burqa is not comparable to a headscarf where the face is exposed, allowing for facial expression and therefore dramatically improved communication with other people in the community. This cultural enforced slavery must cease. Pauline Hanson, the woman fighting for the freedom of the oppressed, is not only a real feminist, but a courageous voice in the wilderness who cares more for her fellow man than popular media culture who are enslaved by a politically correct mindset and deep deception. Like those who argued against the abolition of slavery in the 1800s, they say the burqa is good for women. Women and beauty are synonymous. God created it that way. By denying these marginalized and persecuted women the ability to look beautiful, of which there are many modest and appropriate ways of doing so, this degenerate culture has decimated these women's life on earth. Like an eagle not being able to fly, a cheetah not being able to run, or a singer not being able to sing, they are doomed for a life hidden from view under the watchful eye of their slave masters. Hopefully one day, these women are free from the bondage of the burqa, just like these Syrian women who were finally freed from ISIS.